Hi, in this section, we are going to take a look at why table calculations, how table calculations are performed. Performing percent of total table calculation. Why table calculations? Table calculations help to transform values of a single measure in a view. However, it takes into consideration dimensions in the level of detail. And what are dimensions in the level of detail? They are the dimensions which are placed either on the columns or rows or pages shelf or placed on the marks card such as color, size, label or detail, etc. How table calculations are performed. To understand how table calculations are computed, it is important to understand the concept of addressing and partitioning. Partitioning fields are dimensions that define how to group the calculation, that is, define the scope of data it is performed on. The table calculation is performed separately within each partition. Addressing fields determine the direction of the calculation. Percent of total is also called as percent distribution. It is computed using the formula that divides an amount by the total. Example, to find percent of total for each of the following numbers 100, 400 and 600. First determine the total by adding up the numbers 100, 400 and 600. And the total is 1100. Then find out what percent of total 1100 is the number 100. This can be computed as 100 divided by 1100 and the result multiplied with 100 to give you the percentage, which in our example is 9.090%. Let us look at a demo for performing percent of total table calculation. We are working with data from sample superstore.xls. You can see a few columns in the dimensions area under the data pane. You can also see a few columns here in the measures area in the data pane. For our visualization, we will use 4 dimensions. The first being order date, second segment, third category, and fourth region. We will also use a measure, and the measure in our case will be sales. Let's begin our demo. We will first drag the dimension order date and place it on the rows shelf. Notice the hierarchy that you get on order date. This hierarchy is by default and is available on all calendar or date type fields. The other thing that we can notice here is that we have data for 4 years 2011, 2012, 2013 and 2014. The next dimension is segment. Drag this and place it next to order date on the rows shelf. We have data for 3 segments: consumer, corporate and home office. The data is first split year-wise. So we have data for 4 years 2011, 2012, 2013 and 2014. Then within each year, the data is further split as per segment. And the segments are consumer, corporate and home office. Let's get the next dimension, which is category, and place it next to segment on the rows shelf. We have data available for 3 categories of product: furniture, home office and technology. Now let's get the measure sales and place it on the columns shelf. So this bar here represents the sales for the furniture category in the consumer segment for the year 2011. Likewise, this bar represents the sales figure for the category office supplies in the segment corporate in the year 2011. We said we will work with 4 dimensions. 3 dimensions are already here on the rows shelf: order date, segment and category. The 4th dimension is region. Let's drag this and drop it on color on the marks card. You can see that each of the bar is color coded. We have data for 4 regions: Central, East, South, and West. Here, red denotes the sales made in the West region, green the sales in the South region, orange the sales in the East region, and blue the sales made in the Central region. Now, let's do one more thing. You see this ABC, the label mark on the toolbar. It says Show Mark Labels. Click on this. It shows you the sales figure for each region, for a particular category, in a particular segment, in a particular year. Let's convert these sales figures into percent of total. To do this, right-click on this measure on the columns shelf, come to Add Table Calculation. Choose the calculation type to be percent of total. Summarize the values from Let's Pick cell. Click on Apply and click on OK. This here represents a cell. So for the category furniture, in the consumer segment, in the year 2011, in the various region, this is the percentage of sales. Percentage of sales made in the region West for the category furniture in the consumer segment in the year 2011. And the percentage of total sales along the cell is 31.59%. Likewise, this represents the sales percentage for the category technology in the region East in the segment consumer in the year 2011. And the percent of total sales along the cell is 35.26%. We have performed the percent of total table calculation by cell. This represents the cell. So if you add up these numbers, it'll add up to 100%. Likewise, if you take this cell, again, it will add up to 100%. You just learned how to perform percent of total table calculation.